One last. You think you know enough about God to understand why he would allow or not allow certain sins, certain evils? Do you really think that you're smart enough to kind of step in God's shoes on these issues? That always cracks me up. Let's go back for a second to the first complaint about God Epicurus makes. When he says, is God willing to prevent evil but not able? He's really complaining about the all-powerful nature of God. If he's all-powerful, why can't he stop this? And when he says, is he able but not willing, he's really complaining about the all-loving nature of God. If he's all-loving, why would he allow it? But do you notice he's leaving out an important characteristic of God? If this is all God is, then we got a problem. I can see why he can make this complaint. But he's intentionally leaving out the third leg of the stool. God isn't just all-powerful and all-loving, he's also all-knowing. And it turns out there's a reason why he leaves out the third part, because the third part solves the puzzle. And so in order to have a puzzle, you have to leave the third part out. But the third part explains the first two. Let's go back to our timeline for a second. So here's our life, our eternal life. And just to remind you folks, this is the stuff that we know about, right here. And that's all we know about. And we don't even know all the stuff that could be known there. Because I don't know what's going on in your life and how your life's connected to mine and how all our lives are connected. I don't see that. I can't see that. I can only see one small dimension of our life in this timeline. But God, if there is a God, would have knowledge about all that stuff. So he understands what the consequences are if this domino falls a certain way. If I do a certain thing, he sees the ripple effect. I don't see it. I don't even know it, but God knows it. So there are some things that God will allow, some things that God will even promote because he knows what's going to happen downstream. I don't know what's going to happen downstream. This is why a famous Franciscan monk put it this way. If God would concede me his omnipotence for 24 hours, you would see how many changes I would make. But if he gave me his wisdom too, I would leave things as they are. Because it turns out it's the wisdom of God that makes sense of the restrained power of God. It may simply be that God is not going to do something because he knows what the consequence would be. Does that make sense?